about plant tissues. All the living organisms are composed of cells. These cells, when grouped together, form a tissue. In unicellular organisms, only one cell does all of the basic functions, while in multicellular organisms, a group of cells does the specialized functions or performing one function by the group of cells. That is what called a tissue. In multicellular organisms, tissues are found. Like, for example, every organ is also made up of tissue and tissues are made up of cells. Fine. So this is what I'm trying to say here, that all of the organisms tissues are found. Many of the group of cells form one tissue because they perform the same function. So the cells which perform same functions form a group, and this group is known as a tissue. That is a very clear definition of tissue. So in this video we will be discussing about the plant tissue. In plants, tissues are divided basically on the dividing capacity in two parts, that are meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. These two tissues are divided in plants. So let us study about meristematic tissues and permanent tissues in detail. So let us come on board. This is what a diagram drawn on board in front of me. Let us understand with the help of this diagram what is plant tissue. See, there are many of the parts in plant tissues. Those parts are written here. Plant tissues have two parts that I told you, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. These meristematic tissue also have three parts, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem and the lateral meristem. And the permanent tissue have two parts, simple and complex tissue. Simple tissue and complex tissue. Now, simple tissue also have three parts, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And the complex tissue have two parts, that are xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem you all may know, that we are studying from very old time, that is 6th, 7th and 8th class. This is what about the plant tissues, that meristematic, permanent, these both let us study. First we will look towards the meristematic tissue. So let us start. These are the meristematic tissues. The tissues in which cells give rise to new cells are known as meristematic tissues. These tissues are responsible for growth of the plants from different parts. These also have three parts, which just now I told you. First, we will learn about meristematic tissues. Tissues in which cells give rise to new cells. Means there is one cell, it gives rise to the another new cell, is known as the meristematic tissue. Now, the tissue in which cells always keep dividing means giving rise to a new cells. These are responsible for growth of plants. Plants only take place growth where meristematic tissues are present. Meristematic tissues are present. Cells forming these tissues are very active, have dense cytoplasm, means are more liquid rather than other cells. Then what are the things that I am writing here? Have very active, dense cytoplasm, What? Have very active, dense cytoplasm. Thin cellular walls means very thin cellular walls are there in these cells, and these thin cellular walls and prominent nuclei means they have prominent nuclei. And this is the image that you can see. See, this is what you can see. This is the prominent nuclei, the floating images of the prominent nuclei, which I will be telling you. See, and then cytoplasm. For this cell, see the image, what you are visualizing in this image, that this is a cell giving rise to the new cell continuously. That is what the meristematic tissue did. And now these tissues are also differentiated. One more point, lag vacuole. They does not have the central vacuole, because what does vacuole do? Storage. And the storage, not at all. No work at all. In the meristematic tissue, that is why the lack of vacuoles. Then, these meristematic tissues also have three parts: the apical meristem, and intercalary meristem, and the lateral meristem. See this image over here. Fine. This image you are visualizing over here is explaining about meristematic tissues. So, let us understand for this image as well. This is the image that have three of the meristems: apical, intercalary, and lateral meristems. Let us study in detail each of them. Apical meristem. Apical meristem give rise to the primary plant body and are responsible for the extension of roots and shoots. Lateral meristems. Lateral meristems are responsible for secondary growth of plant body. Secondary growth means the growth in diameter. That is why they are known as the secondary growth of plant body, the lateral meristems. The intercalary meristems, it is responsible for the growth of internodes and the leaf blade.